Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are new here, hello, my name is Summer, otherwise known as I Serve the Face, and today I'm going to be showing you all how I achieved this soft glam look, which I paired with a matte mint cut crease. I wanted to film something fun and therapeutic, especially with everything that's going on in the world right now. So hopefully you guys can learn from this video and you enjoy watching. So without further ado, let's jump straight into this makeup look. To start off with, I'm taking my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream and I'm just applying that to my face. I absolutely love this for prepping my skin. I don't actually ever use a primer. I find that when I use this product, my makeup sits and lasts longer. Although my skin is oily, I really love to get a nice creamy, almost slippery makeup base because I go in really heavy with baking powders. So I'll show you how I perform this technique later on during this video. Before I apply my foundation, I'm going to be color correcting. So I'm taking my MAC Correct and Conceal palette. This is in the shade Medium Deep and I'm using Burnt Orange and NC42 and I'm just buffing that under my eyes and around my mouth. This is so that when I do apply my foundation, there are no grey or dull areas to my skin. To start off my base, I am taking my all-time ultimate OG favorite foundation. This is from MAC. It's called a Face and Body and I'm in the shade C4. I've used this for years. I got introduced to the product when I started working at MAC. Now, as you can see as I blend out, it's literally like a glowy skin tint. What this product is going to do for you is give you hydration and coverage. No matter what makeup look I do, I always start by applying face and body. It's actually water-based as well, so it's really good for you if your skin is dry. As you know, as I mentioned, my skin is oily, but the reason that I use this first is because it allows all the other products that I'm going to use to melt onto the skin before I mattify everything out. So this is actually a 168 brush, I believe, by MAC, and it's a powder brush, but I'm just using it to buff and blend out that foundation. Moving on, I'm going to be building coverage to my skin using the Nars Radiant Longwear foundation. Now, I'm in the shade Aruba, and I'm just using a Real Techniques brush, starting at the center of my face and just blending and buffing out towards the outer perimeter. Because the face and body is so sheer, it's not actually strong enough to cover my color corrected areas, so I'm just buffing that Nars foundation around my mouth. I then blended the foundation down my neck and I'm taking my Born This Way concealer by Too Faced and it's in the shade Warm Beige, and I'm just going to be applying this under my eyes, on the corners of my mouth and just down the center of my forehead. I'm going to let the concealer sit while I start to bronze, so I'm taking my Fenty Beauty matchstick first, and this is in the shade Truffle, and I'm using the Colorpop brush to just buff that bronzer right up into the hairline. So yeah, as you can see, I have this like dip in my head, so I like to build up my contour there because I feel like it gives me a lift, like a lifted face effect, if that's what you want to call it. And yeah guys, I'm literally just going to keep blending up towards my hairline until I've got the desired effect that I like. I'm then taking my Makeup Revolution stick. Now this is in the shade F14 and this is a lot cooler than my Fenty stick. So the reason that I like a more cooler contour along the cheeks and jawline is because I'm almost trying to create a shadow. So on the forehead, I was trying to create like a more sun-kissed bronze effect, but on the cheeks, I need to create cheekbones because I don't have any girls. So yeah. I'm next taking my Remsco Creation sponge. Now, if you guys do not own these sponges already, I would suggest you run to their Instagram now because they are amazing. They blend out your concealer or any other products, foundation, they just blend them out so seamlessly, and I really enjoy using these sponges. Okay, so I'm just going to speed up the process of me blending out my concealer, but I just wanted to share with you guys a thought that was on my mind. Anything that I am mentioning in this video is genuinely because I do enjoy using the products. So yeah, next moving on to my nose contour, I'm taking my MAC Correct and Conceal palette. Now this is in the shade Deep Dark. You guys can tell that I'm a MAC girl, right? So yeah, I'm using a MAC flat concealer brush, and I just applied that down my nose and across the tip. Now, the most important tip that I can give you guys when it comes to nose contour is making sure you find the right shade that works for you. So you don't ever want it to look too muddy or too orangey, which is problems that I have experienced in the past. So the shade that I used was NW50, and I find that this genuinely works really well for me. And also your placement is super important, so the brushes you use to apply the product and blend out will really help you. I'm now switching to my Morphe brush, so I use this brush to blend out my nose contour. I'm going to be starting with the tip of my nose, so I'm just really pushing that product up and out. So this is just going to give me like a more lifted effect to my nose. I'm then going to rotate my brush to its side. Now I'm using the edge of the brush to just drag and blend that product down the nose. So the original lines that I have made on my nose, I don't want to change them, so I'm just pushing in that product and working it up towards the brow. I'm really just taking my time with this, but I get asked so many questions about my nose contour, so I really just want to show you guys in detail how I blend this out. So now that that's all blended out, I'm using my Born This Way concealer again, but this is in the shade Almond, and I'm just using this to brighten up under my eyes. I'm just going to let that concealer sit on my skin again, and I'm going to move on to bronzing and contouring with powders. So I'm using my Morphe palette in Medium Vibes on this beautiful brush that I got from Dubai, and this has 3 shades for bronzing and contours. So I'm going to use this shade here. It's more of a cooler tone again, and I'm just going to mix that in with the bronzer that I already used previously on my forehead. I'm then switching to the cooler tone to contour, and I'm just pushing that into my skin, and what this is going to do is just set the areas that we have bronzed and contoured. Now I'm just going to blend out my concealer, and I'm just going to add a bit onto my chin as well, just to brighten that area. I'm now moving on to the fun part. So as you guys can see, my base, it looks relatively creamy, right? So this is when the mattification, that's not even a word, I just made it up. This is when we start to mattify. So what I'm going to do is, well, what I am already doing is taking my Chanel powder. I'm in the shade 02, and I'm almost setting as well as baking. So I've just got that product on my sponge, and I'm just pushing it in to all the areas that I have concealed. So under my eyes, my top lip as well, and the chin, so basically the center of my face. This is really just going to lock all that concealer in and give you a really smooth, almost like a face-tuned appearance, so your skin looks completely airbrushed. And I'm just building that powder up until I've got the finish that I like. So now I'm going back in with my bronzer brush, and I'm just blending out the powder off my nose so that we have no harsh edges, and I'm moving on to brows. I'm using the Benefit 24-hour brow setter, and I want to go for a natural brow today, so I'm just going to do almost like a laminated effect with this product. So I'm just going to brush this and comb this through my brows until all my brow hairs are facing upwards. And then a really good trick is to just push the brow hairs down onto your face so that they set. I'm now moving on to eyes, so I'm going to start by priming my lid with this Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. This is in the shade light medium sand. And again, I'm using a Jessup beauty brush to just buff that product onto my eyelid. This concealer dries down to a matte finish, so it's really beneficial for you when you want to blend eyeshadows on top. Next, I'm taking this Morphe palette and I'm going to use the shade G Money on a Morphe blending brush. So I'm just concentrating that color onto the outer edge of my eye to begin with. As you guys can see, my eye crease is low, so I have to create a higher one. So what I'm doing is blending up high into my brow and down the nose when I come towards the front of my eye, and then I'm just dragging that out up onto the temple of my face. I'm now just repeating that step onto the other eye. I really love this shade as a transition shade. I feel like it's the perfect burnt orange color, and I'm just blending that out in circles. So as you guys can see, I'm just dragging that color out and then blending again down the nose. So when my eyes are open, you can't really see my eyelids, so this is why I'm taking that shadow higher to create an illusion of a bigger eyelid space so that I have more room to play with. I'm now going to go in and deepen that brown in my crease, so I'm going to switch brush. I just wanted to show you guys the difference. So the original one I use is a lot more fluffier and bigger, and the second one that I'm now going to use is more smaller and dense. So I'm just dipping into this brown from my Dose of Colours Friendication palette, and I'm just applying that slightly lower in my crease to add a little bit more depth. Now I'm going to be moving on to cutting the crease. So I'm using my Anastasia eye primer, and I'm just going to follow that shape that I created with the shadows, just really slowly using the tip of this brush to cut my crease. Cut creases can be difficult and sometimes even scary because you just have to get it so neat and so precise. So it's really important that you take your time with this and use the correct brushes, and that will really help you to execute what you're trying to achieve more easily. I'm now going to be going in with this beautiful palette from Huda Beauty, which I use to create the mint colour on my eyes. I absolutely adore this palette, and I'm going to be using this brush to pack on the colour. Before we actually start that, I'm going to go ahead and bake my face with Laura Mercier honey powder. I love how smooth this powder is, and I'm just baking so that when I do pack on the blue, if there is any fallout, I'm able to dust it off afterwards and not mess up my base. So I just went ahead and packed on that colour, and now I'm using my Kiko black liner to just darken my lash line. Okay guys, so I usually have no self-control when it comes to black liner. Like, I literally go all the way in, do a fox eye, but today I just wanted to keep it subtle, so I only applied it on the outer corner of my eyes, which is really different for me, but I do like the way it turned out. And then I just smoked it out with the same brown that we used, and now I'm just doing mascara on my bottom lashes, and I'm using the MAC Inexteme Dimension mascara. This is my favourite mascara. I really love my bottom lashes to be thick and clumpy, and this mascara gives me that. Now I'm going to start highlighting my skin. So I'm using this highlighter from Inglot on my forehead, and I'm just applying it with this really cute fan brush. Okay, don't judge me on my highlighter. I know it is extremely smashed, but it's limited edition, and unfortunately I can't purchase again. It's from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and it was from the Amrezy collection, and it is the perfect shade of gold. So I love to use this down my nose, and I'm just blending that out with the same brush. Unfortunately guys, I do not like to highlight my cheeks. I just feel like sometimes it brings out the texture, so I'm using blusher instead. I'm using Peaches from MAC, which is such a beautiful staple shade that everybody needs to have in their kit, and I'm just applying that onto the nose and the apples of the cheeks. When applying blusher, I like to go as high as possible, so almost into my concealer, because I see that Kylie Jenner does this and I really like the way it looks. So to finish off this glam, I'm going to be applying my nude lip combo. So I'm using the Morphe lip liner. This is in the shade Spiffy. I really like this shade. It's super natural and ties in with my natural lip color, so I'm just going to be outlining my lips with that. I'm now taking the Morphe lip liner in the shade Bite Me, and I'm just kind of contouring my lips, adding slight definition to my Cupid's bow and down the center of my lip. To finish off, I'm taking this super pretty peach lip gloss from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's in the shade Butterscotch, and I just applied that to the center of my lip. And to finalize, I'm taking my e.l.f. Cosmetics gloss. This is in the shade Peach Bellini, and I'm just using that to top off my lip and add a little bit more of an extra glossy effect. And that brings us to the end of the video. I just finished off by bronzing up my chest with this Colorpop Body Glow and spraying my face with Fix Plus to set my makeup and just add extra glow to my skin. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me create this look, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been supporting me and waiting for me to start my YouTube, because it's been a long time coming, guys, and I've finally plucked up the courage. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and if you don't already, you can follow me on Instagram because I usually post my looks there first. And just a quick reminder that everything that I've used in this video will be listed down below. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next one.